president, and I think that person knows himself. He's sitting right directly behind the national coordinator. I won't tell you who that person is, but he did not join us in reciting. I think that tells us his age, but we are proud of the work he's doing for the chairman. We followed you in the media yesterday, and we saw that a lot of what transpired here is in the front burner of media, at least the social media in Katsina. So we appreciate you, Saifullah. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I would like to take some more guidance, but for now, let's just watch a bit of a documentary on
Nigeria, like many nations, faced unprecedented challenges during COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, thank you very much, MPS Media. To welcome us would have the honor of inviting the chairman of this very important committee, the former Speaker of Katsina State, Right Honorable Abubakar Yahya Kusada, for his welcome address. The chairman, sir.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The Deputy Chairman of NGK's Committee, Right Honorable Dennis Abo, distinguished honorable colleagues here present, the National Coordinator, Dr. Abdulkarim Obaji, honorable commissioners from various states here present, most especially our own and the only one Commissioner of Budget and Economic Planning, Katsina State, Malam Malik Anas, distinguished coordinators of NGKs in different states that are here present, other participants, the pressmen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. Welcome you all to second day of this two-day retreat. Having performed wonderfully yesterday, we thank you all for your maximum cooperation, fruitful deliberations, and your maximum support to achieve a lot yesterday. It is indeed a very remarkable one, and we thank you all. Distinguished participants, today also we are starting afresh, the second day of this retreat, and I hope all our hands will be on deck to ensure the success of this second day. I believe we learn a lot, I believe we discuss a lot, and I believe today too we are going to replicate what we did yesterday or even perform better. So I hope we will take our time and do the needful so that we will do justice to all the topics that are going to be presented here. Thank you very much, and I welcome you once again. Wassalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, the chairman of NGK's committee. I know that we can do more than what we did, and so we would appreciate him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next we would like to invite the deputy chair of the committee for a presentation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's time we have Honorable Dennis Agbo representing Igbo is in North and Udenu Federal Constituency from Enugu State.
Good morning, everybody. the chairman of this great committee that the Nigerian people are waiting for. The vulnerable Nigerians are waiting for our acts. If you agree with me, say aye. Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a restful night. Thank you very much for all your contributions yesterday. It was a very fruitful day yesterday. Sorry about that. Okay. So today my assignment is very simple, very brief, and I'll keep it brief. I promise it's going to be within 15 minutes. I'll do less than that. Okay. So I'm given to do an overview of the legislative agenda. All what we are trying to say concerning a sustainable NGKS program is about entrenching it in a law. So we are trying to figure out a process of getting this arrangement for extending palliative and social incentives to Nigerians enacted into a law. So we have the legislative agenda, and it will resolve the following issues. Everything we're going to say here today is going to be in summary, because there are going to be more retreats of us here going to consider each aspect of this, what we're going to present here in detail, in greater detail. All we want you to do is to get a picture of what these things are going to involve. Number one, I said the legislative agenda will resolve the following issues, and one of it is the sustainable funding arrangement for the NGKS program. Now, under that, we are looking at a dedicated statutory transfer from the consolidated revenue of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is one aspect. So there, if it is going to come as a first line charge on the consolidated revenue, then we are asking what portion of it will come from the federal government allocation and what portion of it will come from the state. But it is going to be a first line charge, so it really does not even matter who contributes what. Now, number two, there will also continue to be a budget line, and this year we have already created a budget line with some amount of allocation there. Once a budget line is created, it will always be there. So apart from the main item of funding for this program from statutory allocation, there will continue to be the budgetary interventions which the committee will continue to provide in collaboration with the appropriation committee of the House of Representatives and then the National Assembly. Number three, the donors, even though we are wanting to exit reliance and dependence on donors, they will continue to provide support. The World Bank is not going to leave Nigeria. DFID will still be here. USAID and all the donor partners, all the development partners, they will continue to be here, and they are going to be interested in what we are doing. Anything that builds the resilience of Nigerians, protects the vulnerable groups in our society, that is core in the mandate of institutions like the World Bank, the ADB, the DFID, and all other, JICA, COICA, and all of them. So many of them will get interested in what we are doing, and they may want to provide support. I say support, not the core funding. They may want to pay for consultancy. They may want to pay for certain surveys, statistical surveys, and all of that. They will always be there. Then, of course, one of us mentioned yesterday the regional development authorities, if we so decide. Number 2, the funding structure. The funding structure we are looking at, responsibility for funding legislative oversight. Whose responsibility will it be, and how will it find its way within the pool of funds? The following is the project funding. Project funding is all what you are going to be doing through all the DLIs and all through the delivery platforms at the states. The real thing called the NG Cares. The real thing called NG Cares. And of course, you know that if we become effective in what we are doing here, we are supposed to be pulling Nigerians out of poverty. And people who used to be in the SSR or NSR will begin to live, they will develop resilience, both the individuals and the small-scale enterprises. They will build resilience. They will be able to exit poverty, exit the social register, both at the state level and at the national level. So we are going to be funding such things. How is somebody defined as poor? You are poor because you don't have access to food. You are poor because you don't have access to education, access to safe water, access to health care, access to even the right to represent, to determine who represents you. Is a type of poverty. So we address those issues. We try to provide water through the DLIs and through the platforms to pull people out of poverty. Those are the project funding. Then next is the incentive for secondary staff. We talked about this yesterday. Most people who operate NG Cares, both at national level and at the state level, they are secondary staff. Secondary from Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Budget and Planning, both at the federal and at the state. How do we fund the incentives? Because apart from their salaries that are going to be paid by federal government and paid by the state government, they will be getting some kind of incentives to be agreed by us here. How do we fund that? Then the last one, which is the fourth, is payment for consultancies. Different types of consultancies will accompany, in fact, to assess the impact of what we are doing. To do a survey. And then, after implementation, to assess the impact. To determine how many people have left poverty. And so on and so forth. So, different types of consultancies will be paid for. Now, number 3, the operational modalities and safeguards. We are saying here that whether the funding structure or the funding arrangement changes, it is going to continue to be a P4R, a P4R program. It is going to be a performance for results or payment for results. Then it's going to be reimbursement of what you have already done. But when we talk about reimbursement now, they say that it is a loan. That is going to be repaid. Then it is not going to be a loan that will be repaid. It will be once you access the funding for reimbursement of your activities, that is where it ends. It is going to now be an allocation of federal resources. So we determine the operational modalities and safeguards. Specify P4R, then the result areas, and then the DLIs. Number 4, specify the delivery platforms. Number 5, the framework for legislative oversight will be clearly spelled out. And I need us to understand that if we are going to be asking states to implement projects to alleviate the plight of Nigerians, we are going to make sure, this committee will ensure that these Nigerians are getting these benefits. When we listened yesterday, we always heard about thousands of people from you who have been touched, who have received cash transfers and so on and so on. Well, if those people have received these incentives, why are we still having the complaints in Nigeria? Why is government still being regarded as neglecting the plight of Nigerians under the implementation of the economic reforms? So the legislative oversight will be strengthened, and then they will construct a very robust framework for legislative oversight. Number 6, clear path for exiting the SSR and then the NSR. People are not going to remain in the social register. There has to be a very clear, I'm talking about what the legislation will encompass. It has to create a very clear path to enter the register and how to exit it. It was being explained yesterday that people who are even employed people are still on the social register. They came into register maybe through when they were in the IDP camps. And then when they return to work, when they return to business, they remain there, and the accounts, there's no way of telling that they have left that they should leave the social register. That clear path has to be determined. Number 7, conditionalities for accessing support. Sometimes there is a contributory. In Brazil, for instance, they have what they call a conditional cash transfer. Even when you are going to get a cash transfer, it comes with a condition. For instance, I was once a commissioner for poverty reduction, and then they say at that time when Magnus Paco was the head of NAPEP, he said that for your child to access the support for his education, the payment will be made directly to the school where your child is going to attend. Number 2, your child will come to school with either a banana or an orange. That is the family's contribution to, so as to create to enable the child live a wholesome life and be healthy. So the conditionalities for accessing support, the implementing organ, whether an agency or a commission, it's going to be determined in that enabling law. Number 9, the organizational structure and supporting lines and reporting lines. The organizational structure of whether it's an agency or a commission, and then the reporting line. Who is going to be the line ministry will be all contained in that enabling law. Now, the global best practices, examples from other lands, we look at China, look at India, Brazil, and their conditional cash transfer, the Indonesia, US, and so on. There are people who have gone on with implementing social securities, social incentives. How have they done their own? Number 12, I'm coming to the end of this, is the timeline. The timeline for realizing the NG Cares Act. We are looking at an all-in period of 6 months, from September 2025 to March 2026. And it will contain activities such as survey, comparative assessment of global best practices. At least we will have to consider 3 destinations. The next one is the bill drafting. This one, the comparative assessment and survey of global best practices will be between September 2025 and January 2026. It will be staggered, but at least to 3 destinations, at least 3 destinations. Then the next is the bill drafting, which we estimate to take 15 days. Then the retreat with major stakeholders on that's why I'm saying that this is a summary that I'm presenting, because there will be retreats to consider various aspects of this bill and the act. So the first retreat is going to be with major stakeholders on the draft bill. When we have drafted the bill, then we'll meet in a retreat like this to consider each aspect of the draft bill. And that is supposed to take 5 days. Bill presentation, first reading in the House. Bill presentation again, second reading, 7 days. Public hearing for 10 days. That when I say 10 days here, it does not mean that the public hearing is going to last for 10 days. But we have specified the period, the days during which we must accomplish the public hearing. The public hearing will probably last for 3 days or 2 days, but it will be within the period of those 10 days we have specified in the timeline. Then the same thing with the first reading, which we have specified 4 days here. Within those 4 days, we will perform the first reading of the bill, second reading of the bill, then the public hearing, then the retreat again, second retreat, another retreat again, which is going to be, after this we have the other one, after that one we have another one again, which is going to be retreat for report on public hearing. After we have gone for the public hearing, we will meet in a retreat to consider the final draft of the bill, taking into consideration everything that happened in the public hearing. And that is supposed to be for 5 days. Then, finally, bill presentation for third reading. It will be within a period of 7 days specified. Then finally, we refer the bill. When it is read for the third time and passed, then we refer the bill to the Senate for concurrence. And we give the Senate a whole 1 month. And then we will have to follow up, push them, do everything that we have to do to achieve the concurrence of the Senate within the 1 month specified. Now, note. Please take note. Please take note. Number 1. The achievement of the strict timelines will depend on the National Convention is not listening. I need you to hear this. Are you okay now? Yes. Thank you. Number 1, I said take note that the achievement of the strict timelines will depend on cooperation of various organs of the NG Cares program as follows: the ministry, the National Coordination Unit, the State Coordination Units, the World Bank, etc., together with timely release of funding. If everything goes well, then we are saying within 6 months we should have an act of parliament. Number 2, the manner of disposal of NG Cares 01 by a state, the submission to scrutiny, and the result of review by legislative oversight will determine the access to NG Cares 02, as well as the envisaged new funding arrangements. I can take it again. The manner of disposal of NG Cares 1, because you have accessed reimbursements from NG Cares 1, how you dispose of it, because it is not yet disposed of. I hope we know. We are coming to your states. We are coming to all the 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT to see what you have done. Now, so how you dispose of 01, NG Cares 01 by a state, the submission to scrutiny. Don't give us problem, because we need to see what you have done. Make arrangements for our movement to see what you have done. Those sites, those projects you say you have implemented, please give us access to go and see them. The submission to scrutiny and the results of the review we are going to do by legislative oversight will determine the access to NG Cares 2. As well as the envisaged new program. That is the new program that will come on board with the act. Please, this needs to, I can't repeat it enough, but this is very, very important. And everybody across the state, you are all here. From all the 36 states, you are here. Please go back. Even what you have not done well can be improved upon, but be open to scrutiny. be open to scrutiny, so that we will be able to say that indeed this is an effective program designed by Nigeria to impact the lives of the vulnerable groups at the aftermath of economic reforms, removal of fuel subsidy, unification of exchange rates, the tax reforms, and so on. This is a reform-oriented government, and it is good that we reform the system. But reform naturally comes with difficulties, and this impacts heavily on the vulnerable groups, and we cannot ignore them. If we talk about inclusive growth, it is carrying everybody along. How many minutes was that? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Malan Dauda Dennis Agbo. And when I saw the cap of the Honorable, I said, this is not Honorable Dennis. Perhaps this is Dauda, because it has D also on it. But I think you will look better today when you have the NGK's cap on you. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a few comments and then proceed to the next item. But for now, it's comment, and we want to plead that your comments make it straight to the point and very brief. Let me also use the opportunity to recognize the presence of the Honorable Commissioner of Planning and Budget, Kano State, who joined us today, Alhaji Musa Suleiman Shanunu. You're most welcome, sir. So do we have comments from the presentation made by the Deputy Chair? Okay.
Mine is a question arising from the presentation just made. Okay, sorry, my name is Chudi Mojeku. I'm the former General Manager CEO, Anambra State Community and the Social Development Agency. Mine is a question. Of course, for an act of the National Assembly, there ought to be a kind of hand-holding between the Senate and the House of Reps. I am agitated to know, I hope there is some kind of partnership, some kind of conversation between the House and the Senate, so that it wouldn't be, by the time you are through, you forward it to the Senate, it becomes a new thing to them. That will take a longer time for them to have a concurrence. So I just want to know, I hope there is ongoing kind of conversation between the two houses for smoother and speedier enactment of the bill. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I was talking with my chairman. I'm so sorry. Who is the person who asked the question? Please, I need to hear the question. Please, I'm begging you. Thank you.
What I was saying is that usually for an act of the National Assembly, there has to be a kind of hand-holding between the Senate and the House. So far, this is the effort or rather initiative of the House. And if we wait until the House concludes before now passing to the Senate, that means it will take the Senate a lot of time for them to also understand what you are saying and what you are doing, and then to concur. So I just hope that there is some kind of conversation already going on between the House and the Senate to ensure a smoother and a speedier, concurrence on the act.
Thank you very much, the chairman, House Committee on GKS, and the national coordinator. Mine is just to commend this kind of exercise that will be put up at this particular time when Nigerians, particularly the poor Nigerians, are looking for succor. I think this is the right way to go. My contribution, sir, is to further strengthen this operational procedures we are trying to entrench through legalization at the National Assembly. If an agency or commission is going to be established, I think the implementers at the various state levels ought to be products or staffers of such a commission, like, for instance, the TED Fund, the various commissions that have been earlier created, because I feel that uniformity in remuneration and incentive payments will further ensure the motivation of the implementers at the various state levels. Because some of us are left to the whims and caprices of our state executives. There's still going to be hiccups in terms of attendance to welfare of the people that are actually expected to carry out these lofty goals and ideas of the National Assembly. Thank you very much, sir.
Good morning. I'm Honorable Leah Solomon Lucy, the chairman of CSDA from Taraba State. Assalamu alaikum. Peace unto all of us in Jesus' name. I, first of all, want to thank God and to appreciate what has happened yesterday for coming together to have input and to accept some of the things and even to make observation. I think motivation, when the deputy chair made mention of motivational system, which I felt, I remember 1st October 1968, salary that was given to our president was 500 million as his salary. And I think the motivational system for our staff, which he made mention of, it really made me glad. I sincerely want to thank the National Assembly for collaborating together to make sure that motivational support is being done. Thank you so much. In line of that, I was able to take some notices in my draft, and it was not so easy to take it. So I will plead the summary the deputy chair had can be sent into our emails so that it can be a document that we should not forget, because document means a lot in developing whatever we have. Then lastly, yesterday we had an issue of loan. How can the loan that Nigeria received can be halted? Then I want precisely to say today, everything has its own time frame. We shall be very much happy, sir, if this loan can be disengaged in this country, so that the masses shall have that opportunity to enjoy the dividend of the agriculture, health, hospital, school in these NGKs. We shall be very much grateful. Finally, sir, how do we collaborate together in the state? That's the question mark. And secondly, what are the principles guiding the collaboration? Because we must have supporting principles to guide our various states in networking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, we are going to take just two, and I wish the chairman will give me the powers to say that's 1 minute for each contribution. If you are going to stick to that, go ahead, sir.
Okay, my name is Aniba Bagana. My own is not a question, but actually a comment. The presentation was very precise, and it's a complete summary of what is they intend to do. I'm sure embedded in that presentation and coming out from the law is one important issue that will guide the success of the implementation of the project. That is a very concrete and precise way of dispute resolution at the implementation level, because we are going to use the social register and probably the community development CDD approach. So at that level, you will have a lot of discussions, a lot of talks from the community. If there is a clear dispute mechanism, then I think it's going to be very smooth at that level. Two, I'm talking about, I've been a little bit frightened when you said the effective disposal of NG Care 1 will qualify for 2. Now, we don't want to leave any state that is poor without benefiting for some mistake they have made. We can probably overcome this by giving them adequate time before the community visit deploys, because some of the things are bureaucratic, not that they are deliberate. So let them get adequate time before the visit. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and participants. My name is John Teve Adze, Deputy Director of Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Mine is just a contribution to this act that is to be enacted. From our experience, we have these funds that we get from development partners that are employed in the various sectors in the social sector. And one of the major instruments that the project have hashed or latched upon to carry out their activities is the National Social Register. I just want to say that the investment that has been made to raise this register should be should help in expanding the project CS NG Cares. We have the National Social Register. We have other projects that have helped in developing this register. So the Act, my suggestion is that the Act should consider taking advantage of the efforts that have been made in generating this National Social Register, because this would enhance the performance, the capacity of the NG Cares to expand its activities as has been put forward in this retreat. Thank you very much.
Very much. We would hand over to the National Assembly for a response.
A member wanted to make an intervention to one of the questions, so I'll give him an opportunity, then I'll finish up.
Okay, so my chairman, sir, so I want to respond to what the man from Anambra asks in terms of the collaboration between the House and the Senate. You know, yesterday during the plenary, during the session there, we mentioned the fact that we have a chairman who is an experienced legislator and a deputy who is also an experienced legislator. I don't think we have a committee on NG Cares at the Senate, but NG Cares belong to a committee under at the Senate. I'm very sure of that. All that will be done, the committee will liaise with the Senate. And in the course of his presentation, he mentioned the fact that there will be retreat, and there will be retreat. So in the course of this retreat, the Senate, those relevant senators or committee at the Senate will be engaged and involved in this. Because whenever a bill is being proposed and it passes the House, it must go to the Senate for concurrence. The idea is so that at that level, the Senate is being carried along. If that bill is proposed at the level of the Senate, it must come to the House for concurrence, where a bill is sponsored at the Senate and at the House. Same bill. There is what we call conference committee, especially to harmonize, so that at the end of the day, everybody will be on the same page. So I think I should clarify this. Everybody will be carried along. Thank you.
Thank you. Does that answer your question? Very well, because that is it. There's always a continuous and robust collaboration with us and the Senate. But just like he pointed out, it may become necessary in one of our retreats, either for bill drafting or whatever, to invite the relevant. But if you go to budget and economic planning, budget and national planning, do you understand? It under national planning and the budget is subsumed the operations of NGKs. So the person will just have a wider scope of responsibility. We are more in number in the House, so we break these things down. But in the Senate, there are fewer in number, so they cover larger. Okay, I think that answers the question. Number two, more on delivery transport attendance to welfare. See, let's not go to those details now, but take it from us. These things will be drilled down to very fine details. Nobody is going to be in doubt as to what is going on. We are not going to create another system. The best thing for us here is to go with the same delivery platforms that have operated the NGKs up to now. But when we are doing that, we will create such incentive arrangement, not to create a different system, not to give you a totally different salary scale or whatever. It is just going to be an incentive to make sure that you are focusing on the job and getting it done. Now, good. Number three. Summary to be communicated. That's from the person from Taraba. Summary to be communicated to members. We wanted to place this thing in this presentation on the slide, but we decided not to. This is not yet for circulation. The chairman will take a look at it, and then we put it in a format that can be circulated. Then we send it to you. The benefits of NGKs, very, very important. See, all what we are doing here is to make sure that we are not leaving the vulnerable groups in Nigeria behind. If anything misses that fact, then we have missed everything. If anything misses that fact, then we have missed everything. The whole thing we are talking about is that economic reforms are good. That point has to be made. Number two, they come with unintended hardships. And these unintended hardships fall mainly on the vulnerable groups. No matter how you turn a system, a Dangote will find a way of adjusting to it. But a vulnerable person will find it difficult to adjust to rising prices, to high food prices, and so on and so forth. Now, the whole thing we are going to be doing here is targeted at them. If buying water becomes a problem, we give you borehole. If access to food becomes a problem, we give you the agricultural assets. We do labor-intensive agricultural works. We do, and those people are going to be paid. They are going to be producing more food so that the price of food will come down, and so on and so forth. Everything about this, all those things that I mentioned that make you poor, we are going to be targeting attention at them. And once you provide those things, then the poor has access to those things, and then he will no longer be poor. Okay. Workshops and retreats for information sharing. My colleague alluded to this. And I penciled down here, or I penned down here, that these are going to be activities that will continue to be funded by the donors, by the development partners. If they are not providing the main funding line, they will always be there to make sure that information is shared, that we carry the Senate along, that we carry the members, because if in this NGKS 1, a particular state got up to something billion and another state got 2 billion, there must be an issue that happened. Either capacity building of operators of NGKS. We need to look into all these things. Why was it possible that there's so much disparity between the access that states had on NGKS 1? Why? So we will build the capacity of members, teach them what these things, even to deliver a social incentive is not something you just do off the cuffs. You need to understand how to do it. I was once a commissioner for poverty, and then they were doing this conditional cash transfer. And then to prepare the social register, you know how complicated it is. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to be deliberate. It's painstaking. Because so that you can get a robust register that can stand the test of time. And then know when people should exit the social register. So, but I believe, either from budget allocation, from support of donors, we will continue to talk. We will continue to speak to ourselves. We will continue to understand this project, build the technical capacity, so that operators of the scheme will know how to implement it. It is not just ordinary scheme. It's not. And we are trying to make you to focus on the vulnerable. That's why we are building your incentives. Focus on the vulnerable to deliver them from poverty. To deliver these incentives to them so that it can reach the last mile. Now, finally. Okay. Somebody said NGKS 1, yes, disposal of NGKS 1 as access to NGKS. That is true. We must know that and it is then even that we begin to understand the capacity gaps. It is when we want to assess your implementation of NGKS 1, we will notice certain things about capacity gaps, and then we will create another need for interaction like this again to build our capacity. So you have to dispose of your NGKS 1 properly to access NGKS 2. What do I mean by this? Why did you what did you do that enabled you to access so much money? Share that experience with other people. What did you not do that made you not to access anything? Then go and learn from those who did. I was calling one boy, one man, here, I was calling him the star boy. He is from Nasarawa State. He's the state coordinator for Nasarawa State. They came second nationally. Who is from Zamfara? Zamfara came first. You are from Zamfara. Are you the coordinator? I would like to see they came first. So now, why is it, what did they do that other people did not do? What is it that they did that other people did not do? And we need to make this thing now to be uniform. Of course, bearing local differences of need. Because need assessment is part of it. You can't be serving somebody dinner when what he needs is lunch. Some people, and they also based on your the assets or the facilities around your place. That is how you define your intervention to your poverty. You cannot be telling somebody in an arid place to fish, to go fishing in order to alleviate him from poverty. He may be having other things that he can do. Finally, 30 seconds. Oh, that's generous. SSR, NSR will continue to be supported. I tell you, to build a robust social register is the beginning of it. And I understand it's a reimbursable item. Am I right? It will continue to be a reimbursable item, whether in this age of World Bank or in the age of a statute. That's what they call the consolidated revenue. If we are going to be funding directly by us, scaling down from donors, the building of social register, knowing when people will exit social register. I'm sure that many of us here don't know what to look for to know or determine when people should leave the social register. You are still under pressure from politicians who think that social register is a place to patronize their supporters. Yeah, I know you have on. How do you cope? What is it? What is the best practice coming from states? Is there any state doing it correctly? And what are they doing? And how can other people learn from them? We'll continue to talk about the social register because it is the foundation of everything that we're going to be doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Social register is the foundation of whatever we are doing. It is the new oil. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with this we would move to a very important item on our agenda, which is for us to break for tea. And I would like to give guidance on how we are going to break for tea. Honorable members, honorable commissioners, the World Bank, the National Coordinator, NG Cares, and the team lead for FADAMA will all have their tea at the back where you had it yesterday. That's to the back, my right, where we have our honorables, where they had their tea break yesterday. And for others, for the permanent secretaries, for the FCSU heads, for the ex-GMs and the current GMs, and the federal team, you will have yours at the back. Sorry, you have yours in the front to my right. You have yours to the front to my right. And all others will go back, and then you have yours to the left, to my left. The 7 point to my left is for others. The 7 front to my right, in front here, is for the permanent secretaries, FCSU heads, ex-GMs, current GMs, and the federal team. And to the 7 point to my right at the back is where we are going to have the honorable members, honorable commissioners, NC, NG Cares, and the team lead, FADAMA. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a break, you will break down. So let's take some break.